Okay, as you can see, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to not only turn on my camera, but cut on Strava at the same time. Usually I just cut on Strava and start. So I had to stop the bike, gather myself, make sure everything was correct, and then we can start the journey. Setting the camera, just making sure everything is just right. Okay, and here we go. Okay, so I am on a short 10 mile. Well, I won't say short. It's my regular workout. 10 miles is what I do every day when I go out. I've had one ride over 10 miles. I think it's 15.6 I did that day. I've had this bike for about 3 weeks now. I'm logging about 60 miles per week. And unfortunately, Strava this week or last week, it cut out 20 miles that I traveled. I didn't appreciate that. It said I spent an hour doing zero point 0.1 miles, but okay. So anyway, I'm on a 10-mile ride. I saw this guy who had lost 100 pounds, and he said he rode 10 miles per day over the summer. Now I don't have to lose 100 pounds. I have to lose about 35 pounds or so. And so I figured, hey, I had already been cycling for a year. Why not, buy a road bike and cycle 10 miles a day? The bike that I was using previously was a fat bike with those big fat tires. It's a shaped mountain bike. Weighs 50 pounds, and then when you threw on the chain that I kept on there and my cell phone and other little things, it probably weighed about 55 pounds total. And that, was just a laborious pace. But I enjoy riding it every year, or every day. So here we are. It's a nice, quiet neighborhood. I like to ride on the sidewalk. I am not. It's not that I'm not confident to ride on the roads. It's just I just don't want to. I don't want to ride on the roads right now. Perhaps if it strikes me someday to do that, I will. But for now, I'm fine with the sidewalks. There are plenty of sidewalks where I live, in areas that I travel, so it's no big deal. I like to usually go out during a time where there's not a lot of people on the sidewalk. You never know though. But usually I have the ability to navigate the roads without, or the sidewalks without having to deal with too many issues. Today was a nice day. It was overcast, and it felt as if it was going to rain at any moment. Not a heavy rain, but a light rain. And I do like riding in the rain, so that is fine with me. Here are the guys who keep the neighborhood nice and tidy. I appreciate those guys. Oftentimes they'll have to stop when I go by, and I give them a wave, hello, etc. So they keep the neighborhoods looking nice and clean. I love that. So here we go. I like riding on that roundabout. Getting ready to come up to the edge of this road, and then I'm going to turn right. I like to keep a nice casual pace, especially for right now. Even though I can go faster on the road bike, a lot faster, I want to keep things calm for now because I want to make sure that I continue to actually ride this bike. I don't want to burn myself out by training and then one day wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to work as hard as I did yesterday. So I just keep it nice and easy, a nice and easy pace. So here we come to this fat sidewalk. I love this sidewalk. I absolutely love this part of my bike ride with these wide sidewalks. I wish they were everywhere. However, on the first day of riding this road bike, I was traveling back in the opposite direction, and there were three people walking. It was like a mother, a teenager, and a little small child. At first, when they saw me, they moved over. So, I slowed down. It was raining. I slowed down, and I, got over to the side of the road. But then the little girl started to walk over to the edge, and the mother, she was playing with the little girl and walked over too. And I was like, what in the heck are you guys doing? In my brain. And so I had to slow down, and little did I know how thin these tires were. And it fell into if you look on the side where they edged the sidewalks, fell into the side of that, and I fell into I didn't fall over. I had to stop and jump off the bike, literally. And the lady said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I said, "It's okay," but at the same time, people have to be careful. And I didn't even know the power of the bike. It was going a lot faster than I was used to going, and hadn't gotten my bearings yet. Still don't have it, my bearings on this bike totally, but I'm getting there. As you can see, there are a lot of lakes and things that we pass, that I can pass on the way off traveling. Nice view. Here the speed limit is 35, but as you can guess, most people seem to drive 45, and I would dare say 50. And I drive faster than the speed limit when I'm driving by too, so I'm not a goody two shoes. Not to say that people drive. Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A lot of times too on this path, there are some people that I encounter that, in the United States usually, well, not usually, we drive on the if you stay on the right side, the right lane, traveling, and then other people that come on the left lane. The way I'm going now, you'll be on the right. People coming would be on the other side. Well, you have some people that when they're walking down this path, they stay right on the side that I would be traveling on the right if someone were coming my way, and they just will not move. There's a lady that does it. There's a guy that does it, and they irritated me. I used to see them on my fat bike, and I used to hate encountering them. But it's just a sidewalk, so I just go over to the other side. But you have people like that you encounter on the sidewalk. They won't play by the rules that we have set forth. Now, it could be a number of different things. I don't know. It could be cultural. It could be from another country. I don't know, but they just will not, go to the other side. So when I used to ride my fat bike, what I used to do is I would come up to the end of the sidewalk right here, and I would turn around, because usually it would take me with the fat bike, it would take me probably 15-20 minutes to get to this point. However, on the road bike, I can get up here in about 5 minutes or so, just depending on how fast I'm driving. I'm taking it casual this morning, but usually I just book it up here. I could book it up here. Like when I first started, and didn't know how far I would be riding the bike. I got up there in about 5 minutes or so. I said, "Oh my God, this is incredible, increíble." So as you can see, the wide sidewalks are continuing. And enjoying the atmosphere. You can see the clouds, how it's a little dark. Now, also too, when I started riding the fat bike a little bit further, what I would do is I would come up to this point and I would turn around and I would just, as you can see, I would just go out a little bit further and then turn back. But the road bikes, they accelerate and pick up speed so quickly, and then I can change gear just in case I get a little tired or something. It's easy to just continue pedaling. Now this sidewalk is buffeted by a forest on the side of me. Oftentimes when I'm driving by here, I'll hear a, I have to look to the side to see, what I'm dealing with. Usually I don't see anything, but I just hear things. The street to the side of me is a pretty busy street. A lot of cars going down it. Sometimes they blaze down that street, and that's why I said, hey, these sidewalks are wide. I don't even want to be over there dealing with that. Although there are a lot of road bikers that go down that way. I see groups of them sometimes, and they enjoy themselves. To each their own. Now, the other point I would come up to would be here. I would come up to here and turn around and go back when I had the fat bike as well. But on the road bike, that's not going to happen. Let's keep it moving. Oh, it was a nice day out here today. Not that many people out right now, which is fine with me. I love to have a free and open sidewalk. Just moving casually today. Here I just looked back and I just kept going. No one was coming in any direction. The next time I'll have the audio available. This is the new camera, and for some way I just cut off the microphone, so I had no sound today on a pretty good ride. So tomorrow I'm going to try it with the microphone on, and this, so I won't have to really do a lot of commentary. I can just talk while I'm riding, and then the sounds, the ambient noise will fill in the spaces. Probably going about 9 to 11 or 12 miles an hour. Not really trying to go fast right now. I'm pretty sure at certain points it hits probably 17, 18 miles an hour. That's usually what Strava says. About 19 miles an hour, when I hit certain spots. Often, also with these trees, what you'll see sometimes is I'll hit a tree and I'll count or I go, I'll ride fast for 4 trees or 5 trees, however I'm feeling. Do an interval, and then I'll wait a little bit, then do it again, and then do it again. So I can increase my heart rate, also increase the amount I'm breathing. Now here, sometimes there are a lot of cars coming in. I don't feel like fooling with it, so I'll just turn down and go down a little bit so I can cut across this church up here. I like to call it what is the Pillars of the Earth church. That's a Catholic church they built up here. My wife and I, we call it Pillars of the Earth, even though it's nowhere near as large as what they were trying to build, but we understood the joke. Coming to this neighborhood here. No one's coming. All right, let's cross the street. All right. So it's a nice parking lot I can go and ride through pretty quickly. Sometimes I'll do circles in it so I can build up a little bit more, not time, but mileage. See, a pretty big parking lot. Usually no one's in it, so I can do as I can. Now, I don't know if you can see all of that, but it's duck droppings everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. It's ridiculous. The ducks around here are out of control. Even you know, when we go to our pool, there's one duck that comes and tries to eat what you're eating. Like, you know, you'll go swimming and then since I have well, if you have kids with you or something of that nature, we'll sit and eat something, and the ducks will come up and try to get your food, and they are relentless. They will not leave. Last time we tried to shoo them away, and then finally what ended up happening is I was shooing it away, and there was a chip in a towel. The chip fell out, and the duck got what it wanted, and I lost. I took an L that day because I don't want to encourage those ducks because they're really aggressive around our area. If you take something and try to feed one, you're gonna have 40 or 50 of them coming at you, and they will crowd you, and they're fighting and bumping each other. No, 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 no. Okay, so we're on our way again. I am going down the fat sidewalk. It continues. Whoever thought this out, kudos to you. Kudos to you. I appreciate it. This is walkability at its best, where you play in neighborhoods where people can get around and they can be safe, and you can exercise and do things that you need to stay healthy. These are the kind of things that help people stay healthy. I love it. Plus, the threat of rain keeps people from from being out. Keeps people from being out, and and I have the sidewalks to myself. Am I a loner? No, but I do like to be alone. As you can see, I'm keeping a nice leisurely pace. Okay, this street, as you see, I turn up, slow down, and go across. Now, I can just go down the off of the sidewalk and jump onto it again here, but I'll try to keep some of the wear and tear off the bike from doing that. Now, when I come back, I believe I just went straight across. So, as you can see, the scene has switched, and now I'm at when I'm the turnaround point. I was trying to work this camera, so I lost a lot of footage. I didn't know whether it was on or off when I was actually driving or riding, and what I learned is that the screen actually shuts off. It's trying to save battery life. so it's still recording. But I was hitting buttons and pressing buttons, so I lost a lot of footage. But here I am on my way back. I believe I was up about 5.6 miles or so at that point where I turned around. It's a nice little ride to get to that point. I enjoy it. This sidewalk is a little thin here, a lot of little cracks, etc. But it's manageable. Not as enjoyable as the other one. I have to, just cycle, just pedal, but it'll do. Now across the street though, I have not been on across the street. That might be a double lane sidewalk. I will have to check it out. Now here this opens up a little bit, but there are a lot of little ups and downs as you drive, little cracks from the heat. So I don't do a full pedal on this because, a full faster pedal because it's just not an enjoyable ride if I do it that way. Fooling with the camera, not knowing if it's on or off. Nice little wooded area here on the left. And we are just getting ready to come to an opening. Little neighborhood park that's out there for the people of that neighborhood. They make sure they let you know that that is their neighborhood park. However, I like to ride around their little circle here. I don't do it every day because I don't want it to become, one of those things where you like, oh, I have to do this every time I go out. So sometimes I'll do it and sometimes I will not. Sometimes I'll drive, I'll do two little quick circles. And what's funny to me is sometimes there's a security guard sitting out there in that little house to my left out there, and we look at each other and I watch them as I do my circles. And they watch me because they have nothing else to do while sitting there. They're not usually reading a book at the time I drive by, so I'm sure I am entertaining them for that brief moment. Okay, so back on the fat roads again. And this is at the point of the ride, and I don't know if it happened today, where I will start to, try to pedal a little bit faster. I'll count, starting with the tree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till I get to the 5th tree, and then I'll stop. Just depending on how I feel. Now they have some fields up here, recreational fields, but I will tell you I've driven by all different kinds, or all different times, for years, and I never see anyone on those fields enjoying them. I just don't understand it. I think in their tennis courts, I've only seen them on their tennis courts probably once or twice, if that. And I like to play tennis. That's a sport I play, so I use the tennis courts in my area, and I can't fathom, unless people just don't like to play tennis. But I'm a tennis player talking about that, so it's one of my hobbies, or recreational sports rather. Now this is mostly I would say either flat or downhill when I'm coming in this direction. Just a slight grade. It's not that high or low, but you know, it adds a little bit of speed if you want it to. Inexperienced camera operator there, and you see I'm trying to check, trying to figure out why it's not blinking. The red light is blinking. Okay, here I said I'm just going to cut across. I do not feel like going up and turning and make that slow circle turn. So I just kept going. I decided to pick up a little speed here. Now I have noticed in the past 3 weeks or so that my legs are starting to, uh, you know, get a little toned from riding the bike. And I know it's working because I can feel, even now as I talk, I can feel the you know, the soreness a little bit in my legs, and I like that feeling. It's showing you that you're doing something. When you feel that soreness, you know that you're doing something. If you feel fine after a workout, like nothing's wrong, then you really didn't work out. Not to say, hey, if you go exercise and you enjoy yourself and have fun, I mean, that's what we're all trying to do. Now, this is the point. My chain, I switched gears from 6 to 5, and it said and I had to get off. I said, "Oh my goodness, brand new bike. Let me see what's going on." I evaluated the situation. Wasn't that hard. I could see I could just put it back on track. I fixed it pretty easily, and then I lifted the bike up. You know, and you turn the pedal a few revolutions. Everything seemed to be fine, and here I am once again, cautiously trying to see if it works. I think I'm in gear 5. Everything's good. And then I am going to kick it up a notch to 6 again and just start moving. Problem solved. For any of you Martin fans, Martin. Or even better, SNL fans, if you know who the guy was that was his boss, who was on SNL in the 70s, Garrett Morgan. And I hope I'm not getting that confused with the Morgan. Yeah, that's Morgan from Walking Dead. Oh, goodness. All right, coming back up on the pillars of the earth. And I believe I turned in to do some donuts. Not really donuts. I was driving and just riding in circles. I was looking at my Strava time, and I wanted to make sure I could get up to 10 miles. So I said, hey, let's go through the duck dung infested parking lot and navigate my way through the infested minefield of geese waste or duck waste that they have all throughout their parking lot. Now, I also too, when I looked on the back of my bike, on the frame, it looked like there was some dried duck dung stuck to the bike. I need to address that. I forgot to take that off or clean it off when I arrived home, when I got home. So I have to do that tomorrow. But yeah, it's everywhere. So those little spots that you see right there. But that's not going to keep me from riding through it. Okay, I'm getting ready to turn out. And it's at this point where you see I have to make a decision here. I said I could have turned back and just went through the church and cross the street over the sidewalk and just kept going, or I can come up here and there's just cars keep coming. Sometimes they'll stop behind the line, sometimes they'll stop above, and I'll just stop sometimes and wait for them to do what they're going to do, before I go. And I stay far enough behind. So, you have people trying to wave you through, but there's traffic coming from multiple directions here. And a lot of times people will wave you through to go somewhere, but they're not looking at the cars coming from the opposite direction that will be turning into you if you're following their wave. So I like to control how I move. I don't let people just wave me on, even if they're trying to do a nice thing. Okay, seems like I was trying to pick up a little speed here. It will not last long. There's a guy on a bike. I waved at him. He nodded his head. It's hit or miss a lot of times when you are dealing with people out on the sidewalk. Some you say hello to, they speak. Others, they do not. Just depends. Usually the people working out, they usually speak. Sometimes if I know for sure that a person, is not working out, I might not say anything because they're just a person on the dare and they might not be used to the etiquette of, saying hello to a person that's walking. Or if it's, let's say, a lady with a baby or something, I just let them go on. Don't even worry about it. If a person seems friendly, I'll wave or say hello. I'm going in a good clip. I am enjoying this pace here. Let's see. I think I'm going to continue on. Yes. Feels good when you can just keep going. Now, when I drove the fat bike, I didn't. I usually just stopped at every intersection because I was going so slow that I didn't need to speed or have to worry about looking. I just stopped and I could look and then assess the situation and go after that. Now the camera that I have is mounted on the handlebar frame. I've seen some other people, they have it mounted in their chest, and some people on their helmets. I am going to have to learn how to rig that. I've had a lot of I have a lot of attachments that came with my camera, but for now I'm just putting it on the handlebar and seeing how that's going to go. It's a pretty good picture. This guy was just a little bit shocked. Usually what I try to do is I try to hit the chain a little bit before I get to the people, but he had on headphones, so he didn't hear me. And so usually what happens is I'll slow down, but they still get shocked. With the fat bike, it was going kind of slow, so they could kind of, and then I would be there long enough where I could say, oh, excuse me, or something like that. But with the road bike, even when I slow down, by the time they see me, I'm also past them. So, some people, they jump or, oh, that kind of thing. And I try to avoid that. Don't want anybody, getting shocked. Okay, here was a person coming up here. I think she was, her eyes were straight ahead. I think I said hello to this woman. She just, I'm just walking, leave me alone. And then here's the neighborhood. I don't know if I kept straight or turned. Okay, I turned. You know, sometimes I will ride in the street. So I like riding the strip. Today I wasn't feeling like going fast, but sometimes if I go this way, I will kick it up a notch. I like to turn that curve here. But as you can see here, I'm just casually riding. I don't remember seeing that work truck. Hmm. All right, I'm getting ready to come out into another intersection and start on the last leg. I call it the last leg of the trip, where I'm almost back to mi casa. Back to the fat sidewalk again. Pretty good clip, pretty good. Nice solid ride today. It's still, the weather's still slightly overcast. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. They threw up those fences probably a few months ago. Before you could see long beforehand, you know, you could just keep riding, but now you have to slow down and see, you know, who's coming before you you know, go across that street. All right. It's nothing like heading back home. I'm almost done for the day. I can take a shower, relax, enjoy the day. Now here there are, going back there, a lot of the sidewalk is raised in certain spots, and you hit, you know, I hit bumps. You can see me hitting some of the bumps. I don't like that too much. I try to jump it a little bit, you know, pick up the front wheel, but you know, as you can see me getting over there trying to avoid some of that. So that's a little bit uncomfortable. Here, I think I picked up the pace a little bit. Look at me. All right. And slowed right back down. Oh, no, no, no. Exerting a little energy. Want to get to the house. Either that, or I must have looked at the Strava and saw that, hey, if I push the pace a little bit, I can ride some more. I can ride or arrive at the house at a certain time. Yeah, I'm going a little bit faster than I usually go. But what I found is that, say for instance, I had this hill that I go through to get the king of the mountain, and the first time I did the hill, I didn't even know that I was being timed, and Strava showed me that I had was being timed, and I said, wait a minute now, if I would have known that, I could have gone faster. So the next time I went out, of course I went faster. I think I improved my time probably about a minute and 30 seconds. And a few days ago, I decided that, you know, I was going to hit the hill again. But this time, when I hit the hill, I said I'm going to hit it fast from the very beginning. I hit it fast. I think 3/4 up the hill, I hit the wall. Bam! And so I had to sit right. See, I went from uh, riding in a road race to Debo, and as I sat down and tried to get up the hill, but still, I thought I was going pretty fast. I was still churning, etc. Turned out it was a minute more than the second time that I went. And so what I realized is that slow and steady for me at this moment is going to win the race. I'm not at a point where I can just be the hare on that type of roadway right now. So slow and steady and then speeding up as I get closer toward the top is probably a better way for me to do that. Coming back to the roundabout. Or passing it. I'm almost through now. And I am on the home stretch. Yeah, I'm on that overpass. I mean, that home stretch. Slow down a little bit here. Look around, make sure nothing's coming my way. Now, when I come to this pond, there's always this. It's two dogs. They're 4 houses over past the lake over there, and they're every time that I drive by, they get all excited. All right, coming down this final stretch before I turn. This is longer than I generally remember. But I guess time flies when you're having fun. All right, hit this turn. And so I am almost finished, and I am going to bid you guys adieu. Ciao. Gracias por riding with me. And I will see you guys the next time I am out. Take it easy.